Welcome to our playground.
Recess the podcast is an eclectic show of organic discussion, imagination, deep conversations, interviews, creativity, intuition, high vibrations, and fun.
Be informed, energized, inspired, and entertained with me, Jamie.
And me, Brian. Ready or not, here we come.
Because we all need to take a break. Hey, Brian, how's it going?
I'm good, Jamie. How are you?
Yeah, really well. Excited for our podcast session today because we have a very lovely guest. I'm super excited about introducing him. But before I do, what's going on inside of you weather-wise? What's happening?
Things are good, man. It just feels like this week was very interesting. It's transformationally in some good ways. I don't know, I just kind of feel like I'm releasing a few things that might have been kind of there for a long time. So that feels nice.
Cool.
And I'm all right. I'm riding the roller coaster up the hill right now.
Right on time, especially because when we're recording this, it happens to be a full moon. So it's all about releasing, letting go. It's perfect.
Yep. Yeah, and we have a fun guest.
I know. I'm going to introduce him now. And it is the Royal Oliver Guttorm Svensson. But I have to throw that in.
That's a mouthful.
I had to throw that one in. But I've known Oliver for all my life and many lifetimes before. But in this lifetime, he actually started out as my radio show producer over 12 years ago now. And he is a professional intuitive. He is highly regarded, sought out all over the world, and an incredible actor. He's a trained actor, and he taught aerobics, one of the number one aerobics classes in the country of Israel, and world traveler extraordinaire, great writer, super funny, and obviously my brother from another mother. Hi, Oliver. I'm glad you're with us.
Wow, you may bow now. So I gotta ask, this is just the voice, right?
It's video too.
So I just want to let everyone know the internet at home was kind of wobbly and down. Some saying at a bar.
I think that's just an excuse.
I think it's
no, it really isn't. That would probably have been an excuse for you, Brian, but not for me.
This is recess. We're at your playground. I'm gonna I'll have a drink.
Yeah, some water and iced tea.
Yeah, I'm not going to show you what I'm drinking.
Fair enough.
So
cheers.
So you have to tell the audience why I said royal in front of you.
All right. So, oh my God. So my middle name is Guttorm, and a lot of people they can't pronounce it. That's fine. It's Norwegian, and only people in Norway of higher standard living and royals and archbishops and all that, they get that name. Or it was like that in the old days. There is actually a King Guttorm of Norway. Mind you, he was like 5, and when he became a king and ruled for about 6 hours, and then he died. I don't know. You can look it up. I'm not kidding you. It really is King Guttorm. There's also an Archbishop Guttorm of Norway. So the whole story is my dad, for some reason, got the name, and it was passed on to, and back then only boys could have it. And my family back then, they decided my sister should have it too. And the priest who baptized her said, well, I'll give it to her. By the time they figure it out, I'm dead anyway. So she got it as well. So it's just been lingering in our family, and we're not quite sure where it came from. We have no clue how it entered our family. And my dad was the first one to have it. And we've been looking back. No one had it. Like we've done family, like the family tree. Going back, looking at it, my dad was the first one to have that specific name. So, and we are like, either one of our grandmothers had an affair with a royal, some whatever
that you know of.
Norwegian. Well, what do I know? But anyway, so Jamie and I, so Jamie, no, not I, no, Jamie decided to call me Royal Guttorm. And it may have ended up on a mug in Richmond, Virginia, at a place called Legends.
Yes, Oliver and I have in the past imbibed quite a bit on some beer and wine. And Legends Brewery in Richmond has mugs with our nicknames, if you will, our fun names. And yes, you know what? I don't give a shit. I will tell you, mine's Hot Jamie.
Well, I was going to ask you anyway, so okay.
That story came about because I was sitting at graduation for my son's high school graduation, and it was pregame. So I said, I'm not going to this graduation without having a glass of wine. It's gonna be way too long and boring. All I care about is watching my son walk out, get his diploma. Anyway, so we're all sitting around the table, waiting for the ceremony. And at one point, my daughter looks at me, and we were talking about grandkids at some point. And my daughter looks at me and says, "Yeah, what are the grandkids gonna call you?" I'm like, "I don't know. Definitely, I'm too young. All this." She's like, "Gam Gam." I'm like, "Gam Gam? That sounds like I have no teeth." No. I said, "I'm Hot Jamie." And that's just how it stuck.
So you nicknamed yourself.
I did. Out of rebellion of Gam Gam.
Okay.
You can understand why.
Yeah.
So that's on my mug. And of course, Royal Guttorm is on his.
Yeah, so that's well, when we went to Legends back in the days.
Yes.
Yeah, I usually, so when I was there, I usually couldn't get out of there because there was always a snowstorm somewhere, and everybody thought I was faking it, but no, I literally couldn't get out of Richmond, Virginia.
This one time,
There was one
3 times it got canceled.
three times you had to come back to the airport to pick me up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I decided back then the U.S. does not want to let me go. So.
Well, one of the things, is Brian and I are doing this podcast with playfulness and giving it our intention is to give the audience a chance to take a break from just the mundane or just the routines or the grind, whatever. So we're just playing here. So one of the things that you and I connect so much on, there's many, but is travel. So
Yes.
what are you're from Denmark. That's where you're born and raised. But what are some of the best travel places you've been to?
Oh God. First of all, a bit so self-conscious now that you say it's also video because the lightning here is like really bad.
It's the actor.
I know I look like I'm at a brothel somewhere, but it's not. Really, it's a very decent bar. But
dancing girls and guys are coming by.
Stop trying to make excuses.
That's later. That's later. The Go-Go Boys. So what some of the best places I traveled, God, I've been so many places. But see, the problem is I tend to live, like when I go visit a place, I tend to just stay and I live there. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. I lived in 6 countries and currently I live in Mexico, actually. I'm just here in Toronto, Canada as a stopover, more or less, because I still have a place here in Toronto. But I'm going back to Mexico on Monday, where I live now, where I've been for 2 years. And I'm originally from Denmark, and I just flew in from Denmark yesterday, Copenhagen, where I was there for a month.
Are your arms
with
still
my
tired?
family. I'm like, I'm so jet lagged, it's hysterical. But I slept really well last night. But one of my favorite places I would say that might be just recently, what just pops up in my mind right now, the Galapagos Islands, because I got to visit some beautiful places there. I got to swim with sharks, which has always been one of my biggest dreams. And I swam with they're not really dangerous. I mean, I swam with a hammerhead sharks. Like they're not dangerous. There's not like well, they can be if you provoke them. But they usually don't come to you. But it was just one of those dreams come true that I got to be there. Another favorite place of mine to go visit is Sinai in Egypt, the Sinai Peninsula. It's beautiful. It's stunning. I love the desert for some reason, but I also love the mountains. I love the jungle. So when I was in Ecuador, I got to hike a lot in the jungle. which was fantastic.
Hmm.
So those are some of the wonderful places I've been, and I'm sure there's many other places that I'm probably going to be going to. Another favorite place of mine right now, because I live in Mexico, is a small fishing village right next to where I live. It's called Yalapa, and you can only reach that place by water taxi. And a fun fact is, it's like kind of trivia, is that they only got cell phone service and internet 10 years ago.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So when you go there, it is a little rustic and backwards, but it's got its charm. I I always say is like, if you remember that scene from Pirates of the Caribbean when Johnny Depp, or whatever his character's name, the Captain Jack or whatever his name was on this boat and it was sinking as he was going into the harbor, and he got off on like on the landing bridge there, and you saw the village and all that. That's sort of what Yelapa reminds me of.
Wow.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it is cool.
You are a man of the world. Do you have any other places on your bucket list where you want to go live for a little while?
Well, I don't know about living because, believe it or not, I'm actually getting a little bit tired of all of this, pulling up
Upheaval?
yeah. It's been fun for a long time, but I've just became a dog dad. So it's like, and I do love where I live in Mexico at the moment, and for the moment, that's going to be sort of my base. And so I can't tell you if there's anywhere else in the world I would love to live. It's, as I said, I've lived in six different countries, so it's hysterical because it's like I went to Mexico for 2 days. I like it. I'm gonna stay.
It's true. It's been over 2 years now, just about.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And people always ask me, how do you do it? I was like, well, one thing in life is that it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
It's true. Yeah.
So
You're a brilliant writer, and I keep poking at you to get your blog, Coffee and a Danish to Go.
I still have the domain name.
I know it's a fabulous name, right?
I was looking at it, Jamie and Brian, and I wanted to sort of, it's so cute, the bartender, her name is Ashley, and she's from Ireland, and her boyfriend is working here too. They're both from Ireland, and they're getting married in less than 2 years. And I always make fun of her when I come in here. I say to her, "So you're getting married when? In 6 years?" What the future? But she's so cute. She was just talking to somebody. But see, I'm trying to avoid your question, Jamie.
Oh, Coffee and a Danish to Go. Well, where I'm going with this, even if you're not getting the blog going anytime soon, is
no, it's going. It's going.
Talking about travel and stuff. When I went over to Copenhagen for your birthday, and we were talking about this before we started recording, that I arrived. It's usually an overnight flight from the US, and it was 9 a.m. and him and Oliver and his niece came and picked me up, and we changed. And I didn't want to just go to bed. I wanted to fight the jet lag and all that. And so Oliver's like, I want to show you Copenhagen. So I changed, and we immediately got the train and we went into the city. And I actually saw Copenhagen in about 7 hours. And anytime we sat down, it was like, I about fell asleep. So I said, we got to get moving again. So, I mean, we walked the entire city in about 7 hours. So now it's called Espresso and a Danish to Go.
I know. I really have I have it down pat, like, this is what you're going to see, and you really will see Copenhagen if you just follow me.
And the Little Mermaid is a real statue. And at 4:30 in the afternoon in December, you can't see it without a flashlight.
Yeah,
it's true. It is so tiny. It is so tiny. We actually passed it. If it wasn't for the Japanese tourists, I think there's a lot of flashlighting going on over there. I think that might be it. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun.
I was just going to ask you, what pushes you to go experience and live in other places? Are you just, you kind of, I don't know, get that fever of needing to have new experiences? Are you extremely curious?
I just always been incredibly curious about other cultures and other countries, and see how other people they live, how they express themselves, and the food, the art, all of that. It's just always fascinated me.
Mm.
And the standing joke is, I go and visit a place and I end up staying there. I had a conversation with somebody who was a travel agent, and he was trying to sell me this cruise and whatnot. And I said, yeah, but it's not really me. He said, well, when you travel, what do you do? I said, well, I stay with family, I stay with friends, I go to all these places. And he said, you're not a tourist, you're a traveler. And that is true in the sense of everything that I do. Just where I live in Mexico right now, I deliberately decided not to live downtown with all the tourists. I'm living locally with Mexicans, and because it makes more sense to me, and I get to meet a lot of beautiful people and their backgrounds, and it's so interesting. So all the places I've lived in the world, like Israel, Spain, Mexico, the US, Canada, at the end of the day, we're really not that different. Basically, we're not that different. You can sit and argue that we may be, but no, there's just some core things that is just really important to all of us, and that's love, that's family, good food, good conversation. And for some reason, no matter where you are in the world, the trash can is always right under the sink.
That's an interesting point.
Bathrooms might be completely different, but the trash is under the sink.
But I love what you're pointing to, because you're absolutely right. We get so, especially here in the US, right? We're pushing so hard to make the almighty dollar, to get things done. Blah, blah, blah. What you're talking about is the basic human connection. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we really value the most, but we don't spend enough time doing it.
We don't, and what I love about Mexico, where I live, I seriously, it's almost bring tears to my eyes, because they don't have a lot. Literally, like the minimum wage in Mexico is between $150 to $180 a week, per week. And you see these families, it's family time. It's like they get together, they pull chairs out in front of their buildings, their little houses at night, and the kids are playing, and the adults are sitting there drinking their cerveza and whatever they're drinking, and having a wonderful conversation, and just, it's family time. And they do that like it's, I don't know, it's just incredibly wonderful to see that they really treasure family and connection and that bond over anything else.
Yeah.
And maybe even a slower pace of life too.
Well, everything there is mañana. I'm still waiting for the electrician to come by. It's been 6 months now. That could drive a lot of people crazy, but I'm going like, oh, this is Mexico.
Yeah. I was going to say,
like I said,
then
I got really injured here just before I left for Denmark, because they're digging up the streets right around where I live, because they changed it. They're really improving the water system. So you can actually, in where I live in Mexico, you can drink the water straight from the tap, because they invested so much money in cleaning it. But now they're changing all the pipes too as well. So my whole street was just dug up the Mexican way. Plus it's raining season. So the streets were just muddy and everything else. And I banged my head against an air conditioner and fell in a hole. And I was bruised all over, and my bag is still black and blue. And people said, you can sue. I was like, really? This is Mexico. I just had to laugh under my breath and go, no. It's like, next time I just have to watch out. And no, they do not put any kind of barriers up. No, because it's Mexico. If you fall in a hole, you fall in a hole.
I remember going to Bali, and I was in Ubud for 2 weeks, and in Ubud, it's very similar. I mean, they just have holes in the sidewalk, and you just walk around, but you have to look out for the scooters that come by, because they could clip you, and you just have to pay attention. There's no signs of under construction, slow down.
No, nothing, nada. I mean, seriously, the streets are cobblestones and they're cracked and they're everything else. I don't know how many people I always hear that. I twisted my ankle. I sprained my ankle. I was like, yeah, of course you did, and stop wearing high heels, okay? Because it's really not convenient to wear your high heels. So I left them at home. They're in Denmark.
Okay.
They're in Denmark.
I mean, it's almost like you're responsible for just taking care of your own actions and not being a knucklehead and sleeping. You know what I mean? Just sleepwalking. I don't know.
No, you really just sort of have to pay attention, like what we never do in life, more or less, because well, I wouldn't say never, but I feel that to a certain degree, things have been made so easy for us, right? I mean, just look at GPS, I used to remember when I loved looking at a map, right, Jamie? And now it's GPS.
That's a whole nother story.
And Jamie said to me before we got on here, not too many inside jokes. But in all seriousness, I look at people, they put their GPS on. It's all GPS. My sister, she can't find her way around Copenhagen. In good old days, she knew exactly where she was going. Now it's all GPS. I'm like, you grew up in this city. No, I can't find it. I need GPS. I'm like, no, we don't need it. It's just convenient.
Well, it just becomes a crutch. I mean, I remember I
Yeah.
rode a bicycle across US in 96 before cell phones, basically. And we just wrote down the directions every day where we were going. You go down old Highway 89, and then you take a left on the road, and then okay.
No, exactly. When you had a map, you just study the map. You say, oh, I'm going this for this long. And then at one point I have to make a left turn right here. It's just, yeah. But now you got that lady going, you have to turn left right now. You go, yeah, okay, I will. Sorry.
I remember when Garmin and TomTom first came out with GPS, and I just gotten it, and I was on the interstate, and they have the concrete barriers and all that, and the TomTom kept screaming, "You turn, you turn!" I'm like, where am I supposed to U-turn?
Trying to kill me? And then MapQuest, when it would be typed out and then you'd print it out and you'd take that piece of paper with you.
Exactly.
It's amazing what technology has done for us.
And now it's like redirecting the route. Oh, would you just stop redirecting? It's like having Google at home. I have her assistant. You say, hey Google, could you please play the latest pop music? Okay, here's your playlist. Heavy metal. I'm like, that's not what I asked for. I told Google off. I said, Google, I can't remember. I said something. I can't say that on air, but I was really, I was like, I told her off. And she said, even though I'm a digital assistant, I deserve respect.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I was like, no, I was just like, no, you don't.
Then you said, bring back Cortana.
Does anybody use Cortana anymore?
That was fun. Again, limiting the inside jokes, because for those who don't exactly, Oliver and I have spent many years together. So.
And we have created many moments that requires a lot of explanation as to why it's funny to Jamie and I.
I don't get it.
I'll say this for the audience. One of the things that I love so much about Oliver and I is we really are playmates. I mean, this is what we do. And the adventure spirit that comes out when we're together, because there's been multiple times where we will make a plan. Hey, let's go pick up dinner, or let's go do this. And then we start driving somewhere and it's like, I've never been there. We should check it out. And we go. We scrap whatever plans we made and we end up at this new place, and it's a fabulous experience, or maybe not. And
no, it is. It usually is.
It reminds me that that's how we should embrace life. It's like we make these plans and we get so stuck on these plans and we lose the perspective of there's other things out here.
It's easier when you have someone to do that, to have, kind of combine your courage together to go do things that you might not normally do by yourself.
No, I live that.
What's that?
That's how I live.
I know.
Well, and
I can plan my day in the morning. I can tell you by the time I go to bed at night, it never turns out that way, because I just change my mind like 500 times throughout the day. I said, oh no, this sounds more interesting. Oh, I rather want to go over here. Oh, and then I meet this person. Would you have any plans? Well, I was supposed to go home, but who cares? Let's go there instead, you know? It's like I I don't know. But then again, that's me personally because a lot of people find it uncomfortable going to the movies alone, going to a restaurant alone, and beyond like. And I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But then again, you find, then of course, then when you find a playmate like somebody like Jamie that we've been together for so many years, where you can do it together, I mean, it enhances the experience because it really is hilarious. Because what I feel life is about creating moments and memories that you can look back on when it's a dull moment in your life or if you're a little down, you can always look back at your memories and all these moments that you created with somebody special, and you can laugh. I mean, right now, you know, I'm sure Jamie and I we could keep going in our own little world, our own little bubble that everybody says we always live in, but but it wouldn't be a lot. It wouldn't be a lot of fun for your listeners, right? So, but but it may be but it may be an encouragement for other people to start being a little bit more spontaneous in life and let spirit guide you to where you need to go in the moment intuitively. Let your intuition speak and spark.
Great.
Well, absolutely. And by combining forces as being each other's partner in crime, you kind of double the community to be able to come bail you out when you need that.
Like the way
we
you
haven't
think
been
about it.
we haven't been arrested yet.
Okay, that surprises me.
Well, I mean,
I'm sure it surprises us too, but
hey,
Not yet.
that's because skinny dipping in Key West is allowed.
She didn't want to do it with me though.
Well,
She said that could be sharks. I was like, well, then they'll have a Danish for breakfast. What do I know?
it was midnight. Was it not?
Okay, well, okay, they would have like a Danish for night snack. You know, what do I know?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So we're coming to the end already. I can't believe how fast it's gone. What's the projects? I know you got a radio show. What's the final last wisdom you want to share?
Oh my God! Well, if it's final as wisdom, it's not about where you can find me. It's more about where, you know, I really want to encourage people to live more. You know, especially in this time and age. We've been bombarded with a lot of negativity all the time. I hear people like all the time saying, "I stopped watching the news because it's so depressing." But live more spontaneously and start loving the people that you really love and hang out with them. And don't forget to tell them on a daily basis. And because it's special. And go see new places, live, breathe, enjoy, create memories and moments. And yeah, my projects, they're coming. They're still in the works and it's all coming together. Yes, my radio show is over on 1-2 Radio every Thursday at 11 p.m. No, 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called Oliver. I just had Jamie on there actually. And oh, Brian, would you like to come on my show?
Absolutely.
Well, there you go. So I'm going to have Brian on as well. So it's just a fun show where I interview a lot of people from around the world, from all walks of life, because I think when the world gets a little bit less scary when we start to know people and where they're from and their stories. And I think that's my contribution to live in a world that's a little bit more loving than not.
Agreed. Yay. And we'll put stuff in show notes as well, so the audience can grab your links and all that good stuff. Thank you for joining us and playing.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was so much fun. Seriously.
Yeah.
And thank you for allowing me to sit at the bar here and doing this. But seriously, the internet is down at home.
Hey, I like your playground just as much as mine.
You're still good with me, man. Don't worry about the excuses.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks for joining Jamie and Brian on Recess, the podcast, the twice-weekly show of eclectic, inspired, and entertaining discussion. Be sure to subscribe as well as share with your friends and spread the good news. It's always appreciated. If you'd like to learn more about Jamie's intuitive coaching services and creative projects, please go to jamiedon.com. And if you'd like to learn more about Brian and his creative spark world and books, please go to gbrianbenson.com.